Hare Krishna. We continue reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is. We are on chapter 2, text 67. Indriyanam hi charatam yan mano anuvidhyate tad asya harati prajanam vayur navam ivam bhasi. As a strong wind sweeps away a boat on the water, even one of the roaming senses on which the mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence. So Krishna is continuing to give gyan, to give knowledge to Arjuna. This part of Bhagavad Gita, as we said, is the Gyan Yoga. So what is he saying? Unless all the senses are engaged in the service of the Lord, even one of them engaged in sense gratification can deviate the devotee from the path of transcendental advancement. So what are our senses? Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, hands, legs, genitals, voice, skin, right? I think I covered most of them. So what is Krishna saying? Engage them in my service. Somehow or the other, connect them to me. Then how? Prabhupada is explaining us. As mentioned in the life of Maharaj Ambarish, all of the senses must be engaged in Krishna consciousness, for that is the correct technique for controlling the mind. So why is Krishna saying you engage all senses in my service? Why? Because he's saying then only the mind will be controlled. If the senses are not engaged in service of Krishna, he's saying it'll be difficult to control the mind. And then what will happen? Then again we are gonna, our attachment to this material world is again gonna sprout up. So what was Maharaj Ambarish doing? With his eyes, he's seeing the beautiful form of Krishna. So what shall we do? Maharaj Ambarish now was so many millions of years ago. But what he did was practical. We can still follow it. We can. What we are doing. Try to see the deity form of the eye with the eyes. There's so much on the internet now. We can see darshan of all over the world practically. Mayapur deities, Bombay, wherever we are attached to, Jaipur, wherever, whichever deities we are attached to, try to see that darshan of the Lord, how beautifully the Lord is decorated. So many flowers, what color he's wearing. How is the decoration? Then again, what also eyes to see. We are reading from Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. We are using our eyes in serving the Lord. This is the Lord's service. Just by hearing and chanting about him, we are serving him. Imagine, that is what he's calling serving. Devotional service starts with hearing and chanting. And that's how we are doing, by speaking about him. The tongue is being controlled by speaking about him, by hearing about him, the ears are being controlled. Then, like that, So like that, we control our senses, and Krishna is saying in that way we could control the mind, easier to control the mind. Then, Tasmad yasya mahabaho nigrihitani sarvashaha indriyani indriyarthebhyas tasya pragya pratisthita. Therefore, Almighty Armed, one whose senses are restrained from their objects is certainly of steady intelligence. One can curb the forces of sense gratification only by means of Krishna consciousness or engaging all the senses in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. So what does it mean? Restrain the senses from their object. Restrain the senses from their object. What does that mean? Like the nose always wants to smell. The ears always want to hear something. The mouth always wants to, the tongue wants to eat. And we also tongue wants to speak. Then eyes want to see. These are all the senses and the sense objects. For example, sense is the eye, and to see the form that we are seeing, that's the sense object. The ears want to hear, so ear is the sense, and the sound, that's the sense object. We can't stop doing that. We are doing that the whole day. can't stop it. So what to do, Krishna is saying? Engage the senses connect the senses to Krishna somehow or the other. That is serving him by senses. That is serving him by, and that's the only way he's saying the senses will be controlled. Otherwise, the senses cannot be controlled. As enemies are curbed by superior force, the senses can similarly be curbed, not by any human endeavor, but only by keeping them engaged in the service of the Lord. One who has understood this, that only by Krishna consciousness is one really established in intelligence, and that one should practice this art under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, is called a sadhaka, or a suitable candidate for liberation. So what is Krishna saying? That if you really want to get out of this material world, really you want to get out of this material world, then what you do? You engage your senses in my service. Why? Because otherwise the senses, you can't stop it. You can't stop the senses. And then because you can't stop it, you'll see something, you'll hear something, you'll smell something, you'll go somewhere, and that is going to continue to increase your attachment to this material world. And then you will continue to remain here in the material world because the attachment is so much. But if you engage the senses, connect them to Krishna, what happens? We get attached to Krishna. Then, because attached we have to be. There's nothing called detachment. Oh, I'm going to detach myself from the material world. It doesn't exist. We can't do that. The only way is we have to attach to Krishna. So how do we get attached to Krishna? Speak about him, see his deity form, have his prasad, hear about him. That's how we get attached. So we have to practice this art. It's an art. It's not going to happen immediately. Why it's not going to happen immediately? Because for millions of years, millions of births, we never did it. So suddenly, how will we be able to do it? So we have to practice it. Okay? Practice this. And then we are called a sadhaka. Sadhaka means a practitioner. Practice. We do not have that natural affection for Krishna as yet. Just now we were reading in Caitanya Caritamrta that, oh, Krishna is my son. If I'm pretending, that's another thing. But if I really want to accept the truth, oh, I don't have that. But I don't want to be here in the material world. And I know I have a relationship with Krishna. I need to revive it. Let me practice. And then a person is called intelligent. We are always thinking if somebody is doing very well materially, that they can get very good marks in the exams, or can, done very well in life materially. We think that is intelligence. But real intelligence is what? Real intelligence is to understand that, oh, I am not this body. I'm not this body. I am an eternal spirit soul. I'm a part and parcel of Krishna. I have a loving relationship with Krishna. Let me revive that relationship. Why am I want to struggle here, trying to go from one body to another and then be subject to birth, death, old age, and disease? That is real intelligence. Yeah, and then this is done under a guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. Bona fide. Should be bona fide, because many people claim to be spiritual masters, but we have to be very careful who we are hearing from. So, and anyway, when we hear from a bona fide spiritual master, automatically that natural loving propensity that we have, we will get that faith, that we will get that attraction to hear and chant. That's just the way it is. Is that okay? Any questions or comments? If no, then we could stop here for today. Shri Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.